ज्ञानकोश इतिहासास रामायण by pact.
ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवज्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पतआन शृण्वन्नोतिभिः आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् मानिषादप्रतिष्ठन्तमगमश्यश्वती समाः यत्क्रौञ्चमिथुनादेकम् अवधीकममोहितम्।
Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodya Kanda, Canto 51, Lakshmana's Lament. As Lakshman still his vigil held, by unaffected love impelled, Guha, whose heart the sight distressed, with words like these the prince addressed: Beloved youth, this pleasant bed was brought for thee is spread. On this, my prince, thine eyelids close, and heal fatigue with sweet repose. My men are all to labor trained, but hardship thou hast never sustained. All we this night our watch will keep, our guard Kakusta's son asleep. In all the world there breaths not one more dear to me than Raghu's son. The words I speak, heroic youth, are true. I swear it by my truth. Through his dear grace, supreme renown, will so I trust my wishes crown. So shall my life rich store obtain, of merit blessed with joy and gain. Will Raghu's son and Sita lie entranced in happy slumber, I will, with my trusty bow in hand, guard my dear friend with all my band. To me, who oft these forests range, is not therein nor new or strange. We could with equal might oppose a fourfold army led by foes. Then royal Lakshman made reply: With thee to stand as guardian nigh, whose faithful soul regards the right, fearless we will. We well might rest tonight, but how, when Rama lays his head with Sita on his lovely bed? How can I sleep? How can I care for life or aught that's bright and fair? Behold the conquering chiefs whose might is match for gods and finds in fight. With Sita now he rests his head, asleep on grass beneath his spread, won by devotion, text and prayer, and many a rite performed with care. Chief of our father's sons, he shines, well marked like him, with favoring signs. Brief the monarch's life will be, now his dear son is forced to flee. And quickly will the widowed state mourn for her lord disconsolate. Each mourner there has wept her full, the cries of anguish now are still. In the king's hall each dame overcome with weariness of woe is dumb. This first sad night of grief, I ween, will do the death each sorrowing queen. Scarce is Kaushalya left alive, my mother too can scarce survive. If when her heart is fain to break, she lingers for Satrughna's sake. Kaushalya, mother of the chief, must sink beneath the chilling grief. that town which countless thousands fill, whose hearts with love of Rama thrill. The world's delight, so rich and fair, grieved for the king his death will share. The hopes he fondly cherished crossed Ayodhya's throne to Rama lost, with mournful cries, too late, too late. The king, my sire, will meet his fate, and when my sire has passed away, most happy in their lot they are, allowed with every pious care, part in his funeral rites to bear. And oh, may we with joy at last these years of forest exile past turn to Ayodhya's town to dwell with him who keeps his promise well. While thus the hero mighty souled, in wild lament his sorrow told, faint with the load that on him lay, the hours of darkness passed away. As thus the prince impelled by zeal for his loved brother prompt to feel strong earnings of the people's weal, his words of truth outspake. King Guha grieved to see his woe, heart-stricken gave his tears to flow, tormented by the common blow, sad as a wounded snake. Jnanakosha Itihasas Ramayana by pact.
ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवज्रवत्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पतआनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् मानिषादप्रतिष्ठन्तमगमश्यश्वती समाः यत्क्रौञ्चमिथुनादेकम् अवधीकममोहितम्
Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodhya Kanda, Canto 52, The Crossing of Ganga. Soon as the shades of night had fled, uprising from his lowly bed, Rama the famous, broad of chest, his brother Lakshman thus addressed. Now shift up springs the Lord of light, and fled is venerable night. The dark-winged bird, the quail, now is calling from the topmost bough, and sounding from the thickest neigh is heard the peacock's early cry. Come, cross the flood that seeks the sea, the swiftly flowing Jannavi. King Guha heard his speech, agreed, and called his minister with speed. A boat, he cried, swift, strong, and fair, with rudder, oars, and men, prepare and place it ready by the shore, to bear the pilgrims quickly over. Thus Guha spake. His followers all bestirred them at their master's call. Then told the king that ready manned a gay boat waited near the strand. Then Guha, hand to hand applied, with reverence thus to Rama cried, the boat is ready by the shore. How, tell me, can I aid thee more? O Lord of men, it waits for thee to cross the flood that seeks the sea. O godlike keeper of thy bow, embark, the boat is ready now. Then Rama, Lord of glory high, thus to King Guha made reply. Thanks for thy gracious care, my lord. Now let the gear be placed on board, each bow-armed chief in mail encased, bound sword and quicker to his waist, and then with Sita near them hide, down the broad river's shelving side. Then with raised palms the charioteer, in lowly reverence drawing near, cried thus to Rama good and true, now what remains for me to do? With his right hand while answering, the hero touched his friend. Go back, he said, and on the king with watchful care attend. Thus far, Sumantra, thou wast guide, now to Ayodhya's turn, he cried. Hence seek we leaving steeds and car, on foot the wood that stretches far. Sumantra, when with grieving heart he heard the hero bid him part, thus to the bravest of the brave, Ikshwaku's son, his answer gave. In all the world men tell of naught to match thy deed by heroes wrought. Thus with thy brother and thy wife, thrall-like to lead a forest life. No meet reward of fruit repays thy holy lore, thy son saint-like days, thy tender soul, thy love of truth. If woe like this afflicts thy youth, thou roaming under forest boughs, with thy dear brother and thy spouse, shalt richer meed of glory gain, than if 3 worlds confess thy reign. Sad is our fate, O Rama, we, abandoned and repelled by thee, must serve as thralls Kaikeyi's will, impericious, wicked, born to ill. Thus cried the faithful charioteer, as Raghu's son, in reed his speed, was fast departing on his road, and long his tears of anguish flowed. But Rama, when those tears were dried, his lips with water purified, and in soft accents sweet and clear, again addressed the charioteer. I find no heart, my friend, like thine, so faithful to Ikshwaku's line. Still first in view this object keep, that never for me my sire may weep. For he, the world's far ruling king, is old and wild with sorrow's sting. With love's great burthen worn and weak, deem this the cause that thus I speak. Whatever the high-souled king decrees, his loud Kaikeyi heart to please, yea, be his order what it may, without demur thou must obey. For this alone great monarch's reign, that never a wish be formed in vain. Then, O Sumantra, well provide that by no check the king be tried, nor let his heart his sorrowing pine. This care, my faithful friend, be thine. The honored king, my father, greet, and thus for me my words repeat. To him whose sense are controlled, untired till now my grief and old. I, Sita, Lakshman, sorrow not, O monarch, for our altered lot. The same to us if here we roam, or if Ayodhya's be our home. The 14 years will quickly fly, the happy hour will soon be nigh, when thou, my lord, again shalt see Lakshman, the Maithili dame, and me. Thus having soothed, O charioteer, my father and my mother dear, let all the queens my message learn, but to Kaikeyi chiefly turn. With loving blessings from the 3, from Lakshman, Sita, and from me. My mother, Queen Kaushalya, greet with reverence to her sacred feet, and add this prayer of mine. O king, send quickly forth and Bharat bring, and set him on the royal throne, which thy decree has made his own. When he upon the throne is placed, when thy fond arms are round him laid, thine aged heart will cease to ache with bitter pangs for Rama's sake, and say to Bharata, see thou treat the queens with all observance meet, What care the king receives, the same show thou alike to every day. Obedience to thy father's will, who chooses thee the throne to fill, will earn for thee a store of bliss, both in the world to come and this. Thus Rama bade Sumantra go, with thoughtful care instructed so. Sumantra all his message heard, and spake again by passion stirred. Oh, should deep feeling mar in aught the speech by fond devotion taught. Forgive whatever I wildly speak, my love is strong, my tongue is weak. How shall I, if deprived of thee, return that mournful town to see, where sick at heart the people are, because their Rama roams afar? Oh, will be theirs too deep to brook, when on the empty car they look, as when from hosts whose chiefs are slain, one charioteer comes home again. This very day, I ween, is food forsworn by all the multitude, thinking that thou, with hosts to aid, art dwelling in the wildwood shade. The great despair, the shriek of woe, they uttered when they saw thee go, will, when I come with none beside, 100-fold be multitude. How to Kaushalya can I say, O queen, I took thy son away, and with thy brother left him well. Weep not for him, thy woe dispel. So false a tale I cannot frame, yet how speak truth and grieve the dame? How shall these horses fleet and bold, whom not a hand but mine can hold, bear others want to whirl the car, wherein Ikshvaku's children are? Without thee, prince, I cannot know, I cannot to Ayodhya go. The deign, O Rama, to relent, and let me share thy banishment. But if no prayers can move thy heart, if thou wilt quit me and depart, the flame shall end my car and me, deserted thus and reft of thee, in the wild wood when foes are near. When danger check thy woes astray, borne in my car will I attend, all danger and all care to end. For thy dear sake I love the skill that guides the steed and curbs his will, and soon a forest life will be as pleasant for my love of thee. And if these horses near thee dwell, and serve thee in the forest well, they for their service will not miss the due reward of highest bliss. Thine orders, as with thee I stray, will I with heart and head obey, prepared for thee without a sigh, to lose Ayodhya or the sky. As one defiled with hideous sin, I never more can pass within Ayodhya, city of our king. Unless beside me thee I bring, one wish is mine, I ask no more, that when thy banishment is over, I in my car may bear my Lord triumphant to his home restored. The 14 years, if spent with thee, will shift as light winged moments flee, but the same years without thee told were magnified 100-fold. Do not, kind Lord, thy servant leave, who to his master's son would cleave, and the same path with him pursue, devoted, tender, just and true. Again Sumantra made his varied plain, and wept and prayed. Him Raghu's son, whose tender breast felt for his servants, thus addressed: O faithful servant, well my heart knows how attached and true thou art. Hear thou the words I speak, and know why to the town I bid thee go. Soon as Kaikeyi, youngest queen, thy coming to the town has seen, no doubt will then her mind oppress, that Rama roams the wilderness. And so the dame, her heart content with proof of Rama's banishment, will doubt the virtuous king no more, as faithless to the oath he swore. Chief of my cares is this, that she, youngest amid the queens, may see Bharat her son securely reign over rich Ayodhya's wide domain. For mine and for the monarch's sake, do thou thy journey homeward take, and as I wait, repeat each word that from my lips thou here hast heard. Thus spake the prince and strove to cheer the sad heart of the charioteer, and then to royal Guha said these words most wise and spirited. Guha, dear friend, it is not meet that people throng my calm retreat, for I must live a strict recluse and mould my life by hermit's use. I now the ancient rule accept, by good ascetics gladly kept. I go, bring fig tree juice, that I in mated coils may tie. Quick Guha hastened to produce for the king's son that sacred juice. Then Rama his long locks made, and Lakshmana's too, the hermit braid, and the two royal brothers there with coats of bark and matted hair, transformed in lovely likeness, stood to hermit saints who loved the wood. So Rama with his brother bold, a pious an architect enrolled, obeyed the vow which hermits take, and to his friend King Guha spake, may people treasure army share, and fence force thy constant care. Attend to all, supremely hard, the sovereign's task to watch and guard. Ishwaku's son, the good and brave, this last farewell to Guha gave, and then with Lakshman and his bride, determined on his way he hied. Soon as he viewed upon the shore the bark prepared to waft them over, impetuous Ganga's rolling tide, to Lakshman thus the chieftain cried, brother, embark, thy hand extend, thy gentle aid to Sita lend. With care her trembling footsteps guide, and place the lady by thy side. When Lakshman heard, prepared to aid, his brother's words he swift obeyed. Within the bark he placed the dame, then to her side the hero came. Next Lakshman's elder brother, lord of brightest glory, when on board, breathing a prayer for blessing, meet for priest or warrior to repeat. Then he and car-borne Lakshman bent, well pleased, their heads most reverent, their hands with Sita having dipped, as scripture bids, and water sipped. Farewell to wise Sumatra said, and Guha with the train he led. So Rama took on board his stand, and urged the vessel from the land. Then swift by vigorous arms impelled, her onward course the vessel held, and guided by the helmsman through the dashing waves of Ganga flew. Halfway across the flood they came, when Sita, free from spot and blame, her reverent hands together pressed, the goddess of the stream addressed. May the great chieftain here, who springs from Dasratha, best of kings, protected by thy care, fulfill his prudent father's royal will. When in the forest he has spent his 14 years of banishment, with his dear brother and with me, his home again my lord shall see. Returning on that blissful day, I will to thee mine offerings pay. Dear queen, whose waters gently flow, who canst all blessed gifts bestow, for 3 past queen, though wandering here, thy waves descend from Brahma's spear. Spouse of the god over floods supreme, though rolling here thy glorious stream, to thee there, fair queen, my head shall bend, to thee shall hymns of praise ascend. When my brave lord shall turn again, and joyful over his kingdom reign, to win thy grace, O queen divine, 100,000 fairest kine, and precious robes and finest meal among the Brahmins will I deal. 100 jars of wine shall flow, when to my home, O Queen, I go. With these and flesh and corn and rice will I delighted sacrifice. Each hallowed spot, each holy shrine that stands on these fair shores of thine, each fane and altar on thy banks shall share my offerings and thanks. With me and Lakshman, free from harm, may he, the blameless, strong of arm, reseek Ayodhya from the wild, O blameless lady undefiled. As praying for her husband's sake, the faultless dame to Ganga spake. To the right bank the vessel flew, with her whose heart was right and true. Soon as the bark had crossed the wave, the lion, leader of the brave, leaving the vessel on the strand, with wife and brother leapt to land. Then Rama thus the prince addressed, who filled with joy Sumitra's breast. Be thine alike to guard and aid in people's spot in lonely shade. Do thou Sumitra's son precede, let Sita walk where thou shalt lead. Behind you both my place shall be, to guard the Maithili dame and thee. For she to owe a stranger's yet no toil or grief till now has met. The fair Videhi will essay the pains of forest life today. Today her tender feet must tread rough rocky wilds around her spread. No tilth is there, no gardens grow, no crowding people come and go. The hero ceased, and Lakshman led. Obedient to the words he said, and Sita followed him, and then came Raghu's pride, the lord of men. With Sita walking over the sand, they sought the forest, bow in hand. But still their lingering glances threw where yet Sumantra stood in view. Sumantra, when his watchful eye the royal youth no more could spy, turned from the spot whereon he stood, homeward with Guha from the wood. Still on the brothers forced their way, where sweet birds sang on every spray, though scarce the eye a path could find, mid flowering trees where creepers twined. Far on the princely brothers pressed, and stayed their feet at length to rest, beneath a fig tree's mighty shade, with countless pendant shoots displayed. Reclining there awhile at ease, they saw, not far beneath fair trees, a lake with many a lotus bright, that bore the name of lovely sight. Rama his wife's attention drew, and Lakshman's to the charming view. Look, brother, look how fair the flood glows with the lotus flower and bud. They drank the water fresh and clear, and with their shafts they slew a deer. A fire of boughs they made in haze, and in the flame the meat they placed. So Raghu's sons with Sita shared the hunter meal their hands prepared. Then counselled that the spreading tree their shelter and their home should be. Jnanakosha, Itihasas, Ramayana by pact.
ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवस्त्रवत्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पतआनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः अपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। मानिषादप्रतिष्ठन्तमगमश्यश्वती समाः यत्क्रौञ्चमिथुनादेकम् अवधीकममोहितम्.
Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodya Kanda, Canto 53, Rama's Lament. When evening rites were duly paid, reclined beneath the leafy shade, to Lakshman thus spake Rama, best of those who glad a people's breast. Now the first night has closed the day that saw us from our country stray, and parted from the charioteer. Yet grieve not thou, my brother dear. Henceforth by night, when others sleep, must we our careful vigil keep, watching for Sita's welfare thus, for her dear life depends on us. Bring me the leaves that lie around, and spread them here upon the ground, that we on lowly beds may lie, and let in talk the night go by. So on the ground with leaves overspread, he who should press a royal bed, Rama with Lakshmana thus conversed, and many a pleasant tale rehearsed. This night the king, he cried, alas, in broken sleep will sadly pass. Kaikeyi now content should be, for mistress of her wish is she. So fearlessly she for empire earns, that when her Bharat home returns, she in her greed may even bring destruction on our lord the king. What can he do in feeble eld, reft of all aid and me expelled? His soul enslaved by love, a thrall obedient to Kaikeyi's call. As thus I muse upon his woe, and all his wisdom's overthrow. Love is, methinks, of greater might, to stir the heart than gain and right. For who in wisdom's lore untaught could by a beauty's prayer be bought, to quit his own obedient son, who loves him as my sire has done? Bharat, Kaikeyi's child alone, will with his wife enjoy the throne, and blissfully his rule maintain over happy Kosala's domain. To Bharat's single lot will fall the kingdom and the power and all, when fails the king from length of days, and Rama in the forest strays. Whoever neglecting right and gain, lets conquering love his soul enchain. To him, like Dasratha's lord, comes woes with feet that tarry not. Methinks at last the royal dame, dear Lakshman, has secured her aim, to see at once her husband dead, her son enthroned, and Rama fled. Oh me, I fear lest borne away by frenzy of success she slay Kaushalya through her wicked hate, or of me bereft disconsolate, or her who for me has striven Sumitra to devotion given. Hence Lakshman to Ayodhya speed, returning in the hour of need. With Sita I my steps will bend, where Dandak's mighty woods extend. No guardian has Kaushalya now, or be her friend and guardian thou. Strong hate may veil Kaikeyi lead to many a base unrighteous deed. Treading my mother 'neath her feet, when Bharat holds the royal seat, sure in some unentel time were children by Kaushalya's cry torn from their mother's arms away, and hence she mourns this evil day. She for her child no toil would spare, tending me long with pain and care. Now in the hour of fatigue she has lost the son, oh woe is me. O Lakshman, may no matrons over a son so doomed to sorrow bear, as I my mother's heart would rend with anguish that can never end. The Sarika, methinks, possessed more love than glows in Rama's breast, who, as the tale is told to us, addressed the stricken parrot thus: Parrot, the captured alone stayed, while yet alone thou flourished there, before this mouth has closed on me. So cried the bird herself to tree, reft of her son, in childless woe, my mother's tears for ever flow. Ill-fated, doomed with grief to strive, what aid can she from me derive? Pressed down by care, she cannot rise from sorrow's flood wherein she lies. In wretches wrath, my single arm could with my bow protect from harm Ayodhya's town and all the earth, but what is here for prowess worth? Lest breaking duty's law I sin, and lose the heaven I strive to win. The forest life today I choose, and kingly state and power refuse. Thus mourning in that lonely spot, the troubled chief bewailed his lot, and filled with tears his eyes ran over, then silent sat and spake no more. To him when ceased his loud lament, like fire whose brilliant might is spent, or the great sea when sleeps the waves, thus Lakshman consolation gave. Chief of the brave who bear the bow, even now Ayodhya sunk in woe. By the departure of reft of light, is gloomy as the moonless light. Unfit it seems that thou, O chief, shouldn't so afflict thy soul with grief. So with thou Sita's heart consign to deep despair as well as mine. Not I, O Raghu's son, nor she could live 1 hour deprived of thee. We were without thine arm to save, like fish deserted by the wave. Although my mother dear to meet, Satrughna and the king were sweet. On them or heaven to feed mine eye were nothing if thou were not by. Sitting at ease their glances fell upon the beds constructed well, and there the sons of virtue laid their limbs beneath the fig tree's shade. Jnanakosha Itihasas Ramayana by pact.
ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवज्रवत्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पतआनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः अपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् मानिषादप्रतिष्ठन्तमगमश्यश्वती समाः यत्क्रौञ्चमिथुनादेकम् अवधीकममोहितम्
Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodhya Kanda, Canto 54, Bharadwaja's Hermitage. So there that night the heroes spent under the boughs that over them bent, and when the sun his glory spread, upstarting from the place they sped. On to that spot they made their way, through the dense wood that round them lay, where Yamuna's swift waters glide to blend with Ganga's holy tide. Charmed with the prospect ever new, the glorious heroes wandered through. Full many a spot of pleasant ground rejoicing as they gazed around, with eager eye and heart at ease on countless sorts of flowery trees. And now the day was halfway sped, when thus to Lakshman Rama said, there, dear brother, turn thine eye, see near Prayag, that smoke arrive, the banner of our Lord of flame, the dwelling of some saint proclaims. Near to the place our steps we bend, where Yamuna and Ganga blend. I hear and mark the deafening roar when chafing floods together pour. See near us on the ground are left dry logs by labouring woodmen cleft, and the tall trees that blossom near Saint Bharadwaja's home appear. The bow-armed princes onward passed, and as the sun was sinking fast, they reached the hermit's dwelling, set near where the rushing waters met. The presence of the warriors scared the deer and birds as on he fared, and struck them with unwonted woe. Then Bharadwaja's cot they saw. The high-souled hermit soon they found, girt by his dear disciples round. Calm saint, whose rose had well been wrought, whose fervent rites keen sight had bought. Duly had flames of worship blazed, when Rama on the hermit gazed. His suppliant hands the hero raised, drew nearer to the holy man with his companions, and began, declaring both his name and race. And while they sought the distant place, Saint Dasarada's children we, Rama and Lakshmana, come to thee. This my good wife from Janak springs, the best of fair Videha's kings. Through lonely wilds, a faultless dame, to this pure grove with me she came. My younger brother follows still, me banished by my father's will. Sumintra sin bound by a woe, he roams the wood beside me now. Sent by my father forth to grow, we seek, O saint, some holy grove, where lives of hermits we may lead, and upon fruits and berries feed. When Bharadwaja, prudent souled, had heard the prince his tale unfold, water he bade them bring, a bull, and honor gifts in dishes full, and drink and food of varied taste, berries and roots before him placed. And then the great ascetic showed a cottage for the guests abode. The saint these honours gladly paid to Rama, who had hither strayed. Then compassed, sat by birds and deer, and many a hermit resting near. The prince received the service kind, and sat him down rejoiced in mind. Then Bharadwaja silence broke, and thus the words of duty spoke. Kakusta's royal son, that thou hadst sought this grove, I knew ere now mine ears have heard thy story, sent without a sin to banishment. Behold, O prince, this ample space, near where the mingling floods embrace, holy and beautiful and clear, dwell with us and be happy here. By Bharadwaja thus addressed, Rama, whose kind and tender breast all living things would bless and save, in gracious words his answer gave. My honoured lord, this tranquil spot, fair home of hermits, suits me not, for all the neighbouring people here will seek us when they know me near, with eager wish to look on me, and the Videha dame to see. A crowd of rustics will intrude upon the holy solitude. Provide, O gracious Lord, I pray, some quiet home that lies away, where my Videhan spouse may dwell, tasting the bliss deserved so well. The hermit heard the prayer he made, a while in earnest thought he stayed, and then in words like these expressed his answer to the chief's request. 10 leagues away there stands a hill, where thou mayest live if such thy will. A holy mount exceeding fair, great saints have made their dwelling there. Their great langurs in thousands play, and bears amid the thickest stray. Wide known by Chitrakota's name, it rivals Madana's fame. Long as the man that hill who seeks gazes upon its sacred peaks, to holy things his soul he gives, and pure from aught of evil lives. There, while 100 autumns fled, has many a saint with hoary head spent his pure life and won the prize by deep devotion in the skies. Best home I ween, if such retreat far from the ways of men be sweet, or let thy years of exile flee here in this hermitage with me. Thus Bharadwaja spake, and trained in lore of duty, entertained the princes and the dame, and pressed his friendly gifts on every guest. Thus to Prayagas the hero went, thus saw the saint preeminent, and where its speeches heard and said, then holy night over heaven was spread, and Rama took by toil oppressed, with Sita and his brother rest. And so the night with sweet content in Bharadwaja's grove was spent. But when the dawn dispelled the night, Rama approached the anchorite, and thus addressed the holy sire, whose glory shone like kindled fire. Well have we spent, O truthful sage, the night within thy hermitage. Now let my lord his guests permit, for their new home his grove to quit. Then as he saw the morning break, in answer Bharadwaja spake, go forth to Chitrakota's hill, where berries grow and sweets distil. Full well I deem that home will suit thee, Rama, strong and resolute. Go forth and Chitrakuta seek, famed mountain of the varied peak. In the wild woods that grid him round, all creatures of the chase are found. Thou in the glades shalt see appear vast herds of elephants and deer. With Sita there shalt thou delight to gaze upon the woody height. There with expanding heart to look o'er river, table, land, and brook, and see the foaming torrent rave. Impetuous from the mountain cave, auspicious hill, where all day long the lapwings cry the koel's song. Make all who listen gay, where all is fresh and fair to see, where elephants and deer roam free, there as a hermit stay. Jnanakosha, Itihasas, Ramayana by pact.
ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवज्रवत्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पतआनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः अपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहं मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। मानिषादप्रतिष्ठन्तमगमश्यश्वती समाः यत्क्रौञ्चमिथुनादेकम् अवधीकममोहितम्।
Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodya Kanda, Canto 55. The passage of Yamuna. The princely tamers of their foes thus passed the night in calm repose. Then to the hermit having bent, with reverence on their way they went. High favor Bharadwaja showed, and blessed them ready for the road. With such fond looks as fathers throw on their own sons before they go. Then spake the saint with glory bright to Rama, peerless in his might. First, lords of men, direct your feet where Yamuna and Ganga meet, then to the shift Kalindi goes, whose westward waves to Ganga flow, when thou shalt see her lovely shore, worn by their feet who hastened over. Then Raghu's son a raft prepare, and cross the sun-born river there, upon her farther bank a tree. Near to the landing wilt thou see the blessed source of varied gifts. There her green boughs that fig tree lifts, a tree where countless birds abide, by Shama's name known far and wide. Sita, rever that holy shade, there be thy prayers for blessing prayed. Thence for a league your ways pursue, and a dark wood shall meet your view, where tall bamboos their foliage show, the gun tree and the jujube grow. To Chitrakuta have I oft trodden that path so smooth and soft, where burning woods no travellers scare, but all is pleasant, green and fair. When thus the guest their road had learned, back to his cot the hermit turned, and Rama, Lakshmana, Sita paid their reverent thanks for courteous aid. Thus Rama spake to Lakshman, when the saint had left the lords of men. Great store of bliss in sooth is ours, on whom his love the hermit showers. As each to other wisely talked, the lion lords together walked on to Kalindi's woody shore, and gentle Sita went before. They reached that flood whose waters flee with rapid current to the sea. Their minds a while to thought they gave, and counselled how to cross the wave. At length with logs together laid, a mighty raft the brothers made. Then dry bamboos across were tied, and grass was spread from side to side. And the great hero Lakshman brought cane and rose, apple boughs and rod, trimming the branches smooth and neat, for Sita's use a pleasant seat. And Rama placed there on his dame, touched with a momentary shame, resembling in her glorious mien all thoughts surpassing fortune's queen. Then Rama hastened to dispose, each in its place, the skins and bowls, and by the fair videha laid the coats, the ornaments, the spade. When Sita thus was set on board, and all their gear was duly stored, the heroes each with vigorous hand pushed off the raft and left the land. When half its ways the raft had made, the Sita to Kalindi prayed. Goddess, whose flood I traverse now, grant that my lord may keep his woe. For thee shall bleed 1,000 kine, 100 jars shall pour their wine. When Rama sees that town again, where old Ikshvaku's children reign. Thus to Kalindi's stream she sued and prayed in suppliant attitude. Then to the river's bank the dame, fervent in supplication came. They left the raft that brought them over, and the thick wood that clothed the shore, and to the fig tree Shama made their way, so cool with verdant shade. Then Sita viewed that best of trees, and reverent spake in words like these: Hail, hail, O mighty tree! Allow my husband to complete his woe. Let us returning, I entreat, Kausalya and Sumitra meet. Then with her hands together placed, around the tree she duly paced. When Rama saw his blameless spouse, a suppliant under holy bows, the gentle darlings of his heart, he thus to Lakshmana spake apart: Brother, by thee our way be led. Let Sita close behind thee tread. I best of men will grasp my bow, and hindmost of the three will go. What fruits so over her fancy take, or flowers half hidden in the brake. For Janaka's child, forget not thou to gather from the brake or bough. Thus on they fared. The tender dame asked Rama as they walked the name of every shrub that blossoms bore, creeper and tree unseen before. And Lakshmana fetched at Sita's prayer boughs of each tree with clusters fair. Then Janaka's daughter joyed to see the sand discolored river flee, where the glad cry of many a bird, the saras and the swan, was heard. A league the brothers travelled through, the forest noble game they slew. Beneath the trees their meal they dressed and sat them down to eat and rest. Awhile in the delightful shade where elephants unnumbered strayed, where peacocks screamed and monkeys played. They wandered with delight, then by the river's side they found a pleasant spot of level ground, where all was smooth and fair around, their lodging for the night. Jnanakosha Itihasas Ramayana by Pact.
ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवस्त्रवत्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पतआनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् मानिषादप्रतिष्ठन्तमगमश्यश्वती समाः यत्क्रौञ्चमिथुनादेकम् अवधीकममोहितम्।
Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodya Kanda, Canto 56, Chitrakuta. Then Rama, when the morning rose, called Lakshman gently from repose. Awake the pleasant voices here of forest birds that warble near. Scourge of thy foes no longer stay, the hour is come to speed away. The slumbering prince unclosed his eyes when thus his brother bade him rise, compelling at the timely cry fatigue and sleep and rest to fly. The brothers rose and Sita too. Pure water from the stream they drew, paid morning rites, then followed still the road to Chitrakota's hill. Then Rama, as he took the road with Lakshman while the morning glowed, to the Videhan lady cried, Sita the fair, the lotus-eyed, look round thee, dear, each flowery tree, touched with the fire of morning sea. The Kinsuk, now the frosts are fled, how glorious with his wreaths of red. The bell-trees see, so loud of men, hanging their bows in every glen. Overburdened with their fruit and flowers, a plenteous store of food is ours. See Lakshman in the leafy trees, wherever they make their home, down hangs the work of labouring bees. The ponderous honeycomb in the fair wood before us spread. The startled wild cock cries, hark, where the flowers are soft to tread. The peacock's voice replies, where elephants are roaming free and sweet bird songs are loud. the glorious Chitrakuta sea. His peaks are in the cloud. On fair smooth ground he stands displayed, begot by many a tree. O brother, in that holy shade, how happy shall we be? Then Rama, Lakshman, Sita each spoke, raising suppliant hands this speech. To him in woodland dwelling met Valmiki ancient anchoret. O saint, this mountain takes the mind, with creepers, trees of every kind, with fruit and roots abounding thus, a pleasant life it offers us. Here for a while we fain would stay, and pass a season blithe and gay. Then the great saint in duty trained, with honor gladly retained, entertained. He gave his guests a welcome fare, and bade them sit and rest them there. Rama of mighty arm and chest, his faithful Lakshman then addressed. Brother, bring hither from the wood selected timber strong and good, and build therewith a little cot. My heart rejoices in the spot that lies beneath the mountain side, remote with water well supplied. Sumitra's son his words obeyed, brought many a tree and deftly made, with branches in the forest cut, as Rama bade a leafy hut. Then Rama, when the cottage stood, fair firmly built and walled with wood, to Lakshman spake, whose eager mind to do his brother's will incline. Now Lakshman, as our cot is made, must sacrifice be duly paid, by us for lengthened life who hope, with venison of the antelope. Away, O bright-eyed Lakshman, speed, struck by thy bow, a deer must bleed. As scripture bids, we must not slight the duty that commands the right. Lakshman, the chief whose arrows laid his foeman low, his word obeyed. And Rama thus again addressed the swift performer of his behest. Prepare the venison thou hast shot, to sacrifice for this our cot. Haste, brother dear, for this the hour, and this the day of certain power. Then glorious Lakshman took the buck, his arrow in the wood had stuck. Bearing his mighty load he came, and laid it in the kindled flame. Soon as he saw the meat was done, and that the juices ceased to run from the broiled carcass, Lakshman being spoke thus to Rama, best of men. The carcass of the buck entire is ready dressed upon the fire. Now be the sacred rites begun, to please the God, thou godlike one. Rama, not good in ritual train, pure from the bath with thoughts restrained, haste those verses to repeat, which make the sacrifice complete. The host celestial came in view, and Rama to the cot withdrew, while a sweet sense of rapture stole through the unequalled hero's soul. He paid the Vishwadeva's due, and Rudra's right, and Vishnu's too, nor wanted blessings to protect their new-built home. Did he neglect with voice repressed, he breathed the prayer, bathed duly in the river fair, and gave good offerings that removed the stain of sin, as text approve, and many an altar there he made, and shrines to suit the holy shade, all decked with woodland chaplets sweet, and fruit and roots and roasted meat, with muttered prayer as text require, water and grass and wood and fire. So Rama, Lakshmana, Sita paid their offerings to each god and shade, and entered then their pleasant cot that bore fair signs of happy lot. They entered the illustrious three, the well-set cottage, fair to see, roofed with the leaves of many a tree, and fenced from wind and rain. So at their father's Brahma's call, the gods of heaven assembling all to their own glorious council hall. Advance in shining train, so resting on that lovely hill, near the fair lily-covered rill, the happy prince forgot, surrounded by the birds and deer, the woe, the longing, and the fear that gloom the exile's lot. Jnanakosha, Itihasas, Ramayana by pact.
ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवज्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पतआनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् मानिषादप्रतिष्ठन्तमगमश्यश्वती समाः यत्क्रौञ्चमिथुनादेकम् अवधीकममोहितम्
Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodya Kanda, Canto 57. Sumantra's written. When Rama reached the southern bank, King Guha's heart with sorrow sang. He with Sumantra talked and spent with his deep sorrow homeward went. Sumantra, as the king decreed, yoked to the car each noble steed, and to Ayodhya's city sped with his sad heart disquieted. On lake and brook and sentenced grove, his glances fell as on he drove. City and village came in view as over the road his cursors flew. On the third day the charioteer, when now the hour of night was near, came to Ayodhya's gate and found the city all in sorrow drowned. To him in spirit quite cast down, forsaken seemed the silent town, and by the rush of grief oppressed, he pondered in his mournful breast. Is all Ayodhya's burnt with grief, steed, elephant, and man and chief? Does her loved Rama's exile so afflict her with the fires of woe? Thus as he mused, his steeds flew fast, and swiftly through the gate he passed. On drew the charioteer, and then in hundreds, aye in thousands, men ran to the car from every side. And Rama, where is Rama? Cried Sumantra, said, my chariot bore the duteous prince to Ganga's shore. I left him there at his behest, and homeward to Ayodhya's pressed. Soon as the anxious people knew that he was over the flood, they drew deep sighs and crying Rama, all wailed and big tears began to fall. He heard the mournful words prolonged, as here and there the people thronged. Oh, woe for us, forlorn and done, no more to look on Raghu's son. His like again we never shall see, of heart so true, of hand so free, in gifts, in gatherings for debate, when marriage pomps we celebrate. What should we do? What earthly thing can rest, or hope or pleasure bring? Thus the sad town which Rama kept, as a kind father wailed and wept. Each mansion as the car went by sent forth a loud and bitter cry. As to the window every day mourning for banished Rama came. As his sad eyes with tears overflowed, he sped along the royal road to Dasratha's high abode. There leaping down his car he stayed, within the gates his way he made. Through his 7 broad courts he onward hied, where people thronged on every side. From each high terrace, wild with tow, the royal ladies flocked below. He heard them talk in gentle tone, as each for Rama made her moan. What will the charity reply to Queen Kaushalya's eager cry? With Rama from the gates he went, homeward alone his steps are bent. Hard is a life with woe distressed, but difficult to win in rest. If when her son is banished, still she lives beneath her load of ill. Such was the speech Sumantra heard from them whom grief unfeigned had stirred. As fires of anguish burnt him through, shift to the monarch's hall he drew. Past the 8 courts there met his sight the sovereign, his palace bright, still weeping for his son, forlorn, pale, faint, and all with sorrow worn. As there he sat, Sumantra bent and did obeisance reverent, and to the king repeated over the message he from Rama bore. The monarch heard and well high brake his heart, but yet no word he spake. Fainting to earth he fell, and dumb, by grief for Rama overcome, rang through the hall a startling cry, and woman's arms were tossed on high. When with his senses all astray, upon the ground the monarch lay. Kaushalya with Sumitra's aid raised from the ground her lord dismayed. Sir of high faith, she cried, O why dost thou no single word reply to Rama's messenger who brings news of his painful wandering? The great injustice done, art thou shame-stricken for thy conduct now? Rise up and do thy part, bestow comfort and help in this our woe. Speak freely, king, dismay thy fear, for Queen Kaikeyi stands not near, afraid of whom thou wouldest not seek tidings of Rama freely speak. When the sad queen had ended so, she sank, insatiate in her woe, and prostrate lay upon the ground, while her faint voice by sobs was drowned. When all the ladies in despair saw Queen Kaushalya wailing there, and the poor king oppressed with pain, they flocked around and wept again. Jnanakosha Itihasas Ramayana by Pact.
ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवज्रवत्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पतआनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। मानिषादप्रतिष्ठन्तमगमश्यश्वती समाः यत्क्रौञ्चमिथुनादेकम् अवधीकममोहितम्।
Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodya Kanda, Canto 58. Rama's message. The king a while had senseless lain, when care brought memory back again. Then straight he called the news to hear of Rama for the charioteer. With reverent hand to hand applied, he waited by the old man's side, whose mind with anguish was distraught, like a great elephant newly caught. The king with bitter pain distress, the faithful charioted address, who sad of mien with flooded eye, and dust upon his limbs stood by. Where will be Rama's dwelling now? At some tree's foot, beneath the bough, or what will be the exile's food? Bred up with kind solitude, can he, long lapped in pleasant rest, unmeet for pain, by pain oppressed, son of earth's king, his sad night spent, earth couched as one that has no friend. Behind him, when abroad he sped, cars, elephants, and foot were led. Then how shall Rama dwell afar in the wild woods where no men are? How, tell me, did the princess there, with Sita good and soft and fair, alighting from the chariot tread, the forest wilds around them spread? A happy lot is thine, I ween, whose eyes my two dear sons have seen, seeking on foot the forest shade, like the bright twins to view displayed. The heavenly Ashwins, when they seek the woods that hang neath Mandara speak, what words, Sumantra, quickly tell, from Rama, Lakshmana, Sita fell. How in the wood did Rama eat? What was his bed and what his seat? Full answer to my questions give, for I on thy reply shall live. As with the saints Yayati held, sweet converse from the skies expelled. Urged by the Lord of men to speak, whose sobbing voice came faint and weak, thus he, while tears his utterance broke, in answer to the monarch spoke. Hear then the words that Rama said, resolved in duty's path to tread. Joining his hands, his head he bent, and gave this message reverent. Sumantra, to my father go, whose lofty mind all people know. Bow down before him as is meet, and in my stead salute his feet. Then to the queen my mother bend, and give the greeting that I send. Never may her steps from duty err, and may it shall be well with her. And add this word, O queen, pursue thy oaths with faithful heart and true, and ever at due season turn, where holy fires of worship burn. A lady on our Lord bestows such honor as to gods we owe. Be kind to every queen, let pride and thought of self be cast aside, in the king's fond opinion raise. Kaikeyi by respect and praise, let the young Bharata ever be loud honored as the king by thee. Thy king award duties never forget, high over all our monarchs set. And Bharata, too, for me address, pray that all health his life may bless. Let every royal lady share, as justice bids, his love and care. Say to the strong-armed chief who brings joy to Ishwaku's line of kings, as ruling prince, thy care be shown of him, our sire, who holds the throne. Stricken in years, he feels their weight, but leave him in his royal state. As regent heir, content thee still, submissive to thy father's will. Rama again his charge renewed, as the hot flood his cheek bedewed. Hold as thine own my mother dear, who drops for me the longing tear. Then Lakshmana, with his soul on fire, spake breathing fast these words of ire. Say for what sin, for what offence, was royal Rama banished thence? He is the cause the king poor slave to the light charge Kaikeyi gave. Let right or wrong the motive be, the author of our woe is he. Whether the exile were decreed through foolish faith or guilty greed for promises or empire, still the king has wrought a grievous error. Grant that the Lord of all saw fit to prompt the deed and sanction it. In Rama's life no cause I see for which the king should bid him flee. His blinded eyes refuse to scan the guilt and folly of the plan. and from the weakness of the king here and thereafter woe shall spring. No more, my sire, the ties that used to bind me to the king are loosed. My brother Rama, Raghu's son, to me is Lord, friend, sire in one. The love of men how can he win? Deserting by the cruel sin, their joy whose heart is swift to feel a pleasure in the people's will, shall he whose mandate could expel the virtuous Rama loved so well, to whom his subjects' fond hearts cling, shall he in spite of them be king. But Janaka's child, my lord, stood by, and oft the votaress heaved a sigh. She seemed with dull and wandering sense beneath the spirit's influence. The noble princess pained with woe, which till the hour she never could know. Tears in her heavy trouble shed, but not a word to me she said. She raised her face which grief had dried, and tenderly her husband eyed, gazed on him as he turned to go, while tears chased her tear in rapid flow. She raised her face which grief had dried, and tenderly her husband eyed, gazed on him as he turned to go, while tear chased tear in rapid flow. Jnanakosha, Itihasas, Ramayana by pact.
ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवज्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पतआनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् मानिषादप्रतिष्ठन्तमगमश्यश्वती समाः यत्क्रौञ्चमिथुनादेकम् अवधीकममोहितम्
Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodya Kanda, Canto 59, Dasarada's Lament. As thus Sumantra, best of peers, told his sad tale with many tears, the monarch cried, I pray thee, tell at length again what there befell. Sumantra at the king's behest, striving with sobs he scarce repressed. His trembling voice at last controlled, and thus his further tidings told. Their locks in votive coils they wound, their coats of bark upon them bound. To Ganga's farther shore they went, thence to Prayag their steps were bent. I saw that Lakshman walked ahead, to guard the path of two should tread. So far I saw no more could learn, forced by the hero to return. Retracing slow my homeward course, scarce could I move each stubborn horse. Shedding hot tears of grief he stood. When Rama turned him to the wood, as the two princes parted thence, I raised my hands in reverence. mounted my ready car and bore the grief that stung me to the core. With Guha all that day I stayed, still by the earnest hope delayed. The drama at the time could end, some message from the wood might send. The realm great monarch mourned the blow and sympathized with Rama's woe. Each withering tree hangs low his head, and shoot and bud the flower are dead. Dried are the floods that want to fill the lake, the river, and the rill. Dearer each grove and garden now, dry every blossom on the board. Each beast is still, no serpents crawl. A lethargy of woe on all. The very wood is silent, crushed with grief for Rama. All is hushed. Fair blossoms from the water born, gay garlands that the earth adorn, and every fruit that gleams like gold, have lost the scent that charmed of old. Empty is every grove I see. Our birds sit pensive on the tree, wherever I look its beauty over. The pleasance charms not as before. I drove through fair Ayodhya street, none flew with joy the car to meet. They saw that Rama was not there, and turned them sighing in despair. The people in the royal way wept tears of bitter grief then. And when they beheld me coming from afar, no Rama with me in the car. From palace roof and turret high, each woman bent her eager eye. She looked for Rama, but in vain, gazed on the car and shrieked for pain. Their long clear eyes with sorrow drowned, they when this common grief was found, looked each on other, friend and foe, in sympathy of levelling woe, no shade of difference between foe, friend, or neutral there was seen. Without a joy her bosoms rent with grief for Rama's banishment. Ayodhya like the queen appears, who mourns her son with many tears. He ended, and the king distressed, with sobbing voice that Lord addressed, Ah me, by false Kaikeyi led, of evil raised to evil bred. I took no counsel of the sage, nor sought advice from skill and age. I asked no lord his aid to lend, I called no citizen or friend. Rash was my deed, bereft of sense, slave to a woman's influence. Surely, my lord, a woe so great falls on us by the will of fate. It lays the house of Raghu low, for destiny will have it so. I pray thee, if I ever have done an act to please thee, but one. Fly, fly, and Rama homeward led, my life departing counsel speed. Fly ere the power to bid I lack, fly to the wood, bring Rama back. I cannot live for even one short hour bereaved of my son. But the prince, whose arms are strong, has journeyed far, the way is long. Me upon the chariot place, and let me look on Rama's face. O me, my son, my eldest born, where roams he in the wood forlorn, the wielder of the mighty bow, whose shoulders like the lion's show. Where the light of life be dim, take me to Sita and to him. O Rama, Lakshmana, and O thou, dear Sita, constant to thy own. Beloved ones, you cannot know that I am dying of my own. The king to bitter grief, a prey that drew each wandering sense away, sunk in affliction sea too wide to traverse in his anguish cried. Hard to pass, my queen, this sea of sorrow, raging over me, no Rama near to soothe mine eye. Plunged in its lowest deeps I lie, sorrow of Rama swells the tide, and Sita's absence makes it wide. My tears its foaming blood floods disdain, made billowy by my sighs of pain. My cries its roar, the arms I throw, about me are the fish below. Kaikeyi is the fire that feeds beneath my hair the tangled weeds. It soars the tears for Rama shed, the humpback's words, its monsters dread. The boon I gave the wretch its shore till Rama's banishment be over. O me, that I should long to set my eager eyes today on Raghu's son, and he be yet with Lakshman far away. Thus he of the lofty glory wailed and sank upon the bed. Beneath the O his spirit failed and all his senses fled. Jnanakosha, Itihasas, Ramayana by pact.
ॐ गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवज्रवत्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पतआनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् मानिषादप्रतिष्ठन्तमगमश्यश्वती समाः यत्क्रौञ्चमिथुनादेकम् अवधीकममोहितम्
Valmiki Ramayana, Ayodya Kanda, Canto 60. Kaushalya consoled. As Queen Kaushalya, trembling much as blighted by a goblin's touch, still lying prostrate, half awoke to consciousness, it was thus she spoke. Bear me away, Sumantra, far where Rama, Sita, Lakshmana are. Bereft of them, I have no power to linger on a single hour. Again I pray thy steps retrace, and me in Dandak forest place. For after them I needs must go, or sink to Yama's realms below. His utterance choked by tears that rolled down from their fountains uncontrolled. With suppliant hands the charity thus spake, the lady's heart to cheer. Dismiss thy grief, despair, and dread that fills thy fowl of sorrow bred. For pain and anguish thrown aside, will Rama in the wood abide, and Lakshman with unfailing care will guard the feet of Rama there, earnesting with governed sense the prize that waits on duty in the skies, and Sita in the wild as well as in her own dear home will dwell. To Rama all his heart, her heart she gives, and free from doubt and terror lives. No faintest sign of care or woe the features of the lady show. Methinks Videha's pride was made for exile in the forest shade. Even as of old she used to rove, delighted in the city's grove. Thus, even thus she joys to tread the woodlands uninhabited. Like a young child, her face as fair as the young moon, she wanders there. What though in lonely woods she stray? Still Rama is her joy and stay. All his the heart, no sorrow bend. Her very life on him depends, for if her Lord she might not see, Ayodya like the wood would be. She bids him as she roams declare the names of towns and hamlets there, marks various trees that meet her eye, and many a brook that hurries by. And Janaka's daughter seems to roam one little league away from home. When Rama or his brother speaks and gives the answer that she seeks, this lady I remember well, nor angry words have I to tell. Reproaches that Kaikeyi shot, such queen my mind remembers not. The speech when Sita's wrath was high, Sumantra passed in silence by, that so his pleasant words might cheer with sweet report Kaushalya's ear. Her moonlike beauty suffers not, though winds be rude and suns be hot. The way, the danger, and the toil, her gentle lustre may not soil, like the red lily's leafy crown, or as the fair full moon looks down. So the Videhan lady's face still shines with undiminished grace. What if the borrowed colors throw over her fine feet no rosy glow? Still with their natural tints they spread a lotus glory where they tread. In sportive grace she walks the ground, and sweet her chiming anklets sound. No jewels clasp the faultless limb, she leaves them all for love of him. If in the woods her gentle eye a lion sees or tiger neigh, or elephant, she fears no ill, for Rama's arm supports her still. No longer be their fate deplored, nor thine nor that of Koshala Lord, for conduct such as theirs shall buy wide glory that can never die, for casting grief and care away, delighting in the forest, they with joyful spirits blithe and gay, set forward on the ancient way where mighty saints have led, their highest aim, their dearest care, to keep their father's honor fair. Observing still the oath he swore, swear they roam on wild fruit fed. Thus with persuasive art he tried to turn her from her grief aside. By soothing fancies won, but still she gave her sorrow vent. O Rama, ah Rama, was her shrill lament, my love, my son, my son.